this is my conclusion here, that you will be taught by me 10 strategic trends. Strategic trend means it's a world trend. 10 trends in political, economic, religion, and military. Okay, these trends all over, inclusive. Okay, 10 major trends happening in the early 21st century today. Okay, we as a Christian should know what's going on outside, because we should know what's going on outside in light of biblical teachings. So now, these 10 trends are not only limited to those non-Christians, but also we Christians should know what's going on outside. Okay? Okay, now the first trend here, I wrote it down here. Number 1 trend is weapon proliferation. Weapon proliferation. That means more weapon production. Okay? More expansion of all kinds of deadly weapons. More development of deadly weapons around the world, especially the mass destruction, mass destructive weapons. One shot will kill million people. That kind of mass destructive weapons are being around 18 countries today possess nuclear weapons. America, USA, Russia, China, India, Pakistan, Brazil, France, UK, even now North Korea, and so on. The problem is those powerful countries, their total nuclear power, say both Russia and United States, can destroy this planet Earth 40 times. Their combined power will be able to destroy this planet Earth how many times? About 40 times. Both Russians and Americans are afraid of that. They know they have enough power to demolish whole humanity. So these two countries often meet together to reduce nuclear capacity. It's called the disarmament, reducing nuclear capacity. They are willing, but it hasn't been worked that much. At the same time, these two countries have a nuclear controlling mechanic. They know how to control nuclear power. They have a deterrent power. Meaning determined, they don't want to misuse the nuclear. They know how to control the nuclear power, not to misuse. Okay? They know how to control those deadly weapons. The problem is those so-called the countries governed by dictator or politically and financially insecure countries. Most of leaders are very emotional, not rational. Danger is there For instance, Iran, Pakistan, even India, North Korea, they are very dangerous. Pakistan has nuclear power because of India. They are arch enemies. And Israel also has nuclear energy and a nuclear weapon. They are very dangerous. Iran today now have the nuclear weapon. They openly, in public, claiming that they will use their nuclear weapon to destroy Israel. If that happens, it will be the World War III. Israel will counterattack. They have strong military weapons, including nuclear weapons. And also, North Korea has been in world attention because North Koreans now officially announced that they have nuclear weapon. Japanese are very afraid of that. Japan does not have nuclear weapon. Okay, Japan in the past attacked Korea, so they are in fear of Koreans' reprisal. Because of North Korean, Japan now is preparing for the development of nuclear weapon to protect themselves. Once Japan developed nuclear weapon, which they have ability to do that, then Chinese are at alarm. They are afraid of Japanese. And also Americans don't like that. And Russians don't like. But Japan used to fight against China, Russia, even America during the World War II. So all these countries are afraid of North Koreans. Because of North Koreans, Japan will build up. So now, here, because of North Korea, there were 6-party talks. Have you heard that now? The reason they have a 6-party talk is because of that. Because of North Korea, world peace may be broken. At the same time, North Koreans have been selling their nuclear weapons and missiles to the Middle East countries. 3 days ago, you know the story, when Ukrainian aircraft carried North Korean weapons, okay, heading to Sri Lanka, some said, and arrived in Thailand, but after Thailand and Sri Lanka and Pakistan. Multi-billion dollars worth of missile and contemporary weapons made by North Koreans. So now it's been the world focus, even UN attention. You know, North Koreans do not have enough money for feeding their people, but they're building million dollars worth of weapons. Isn't it interesting? Now those weapons delivering to the Middle East will be used for the destruction of Jewish nation. Therefore, Jews around the world enforcing Western countries to stop sending weapons from North Korea. Because North Korea now is contributing to the destruction of nation of Israel. That is the reason North Korea has been on the world attention. 2 reasons. One reason is breaking world peace, okay, and Japan's rearmament, all these. The second reason is supplying weapons to the Middle Eastern Arab countries, in turn to destroy what nation? Israel. So these North Koreans, now one of the key peoples who would contribute the world peace. You see now Koreans here. South Koreans are now sending missionaries, okay, out of this country here. And also we are selling all IT technology. Korea is even U.S. specialists like a J.C. Morgan and Wall Street, bankers, they estimated that by the year 2020, Korea will be the second richest country in the world. Second richest country in the world. They predicted that. Those Jewish guys and American financiers predicted that. Because they know what technology Koreans has. They know. Korea is now today the top IT country. Yesterday it was on the Korean television, a Korean Hyundai car called Genesis. The engine is far more excellent than even Mercedes-Benz, the engine itself. So it's a very powerful, it will start and jump faster than any other cars, in first 100 meters. Korea has that technology. Korea now is building helicopters, even firefighters. They're selling all this. And Korea is number one shipbuilding country in the world. Down there by Samsung shipbuilding, Daewoo shipbuilding, Hyundai shipbuildings, all those shipbuilding companies, top in the world. Other countries cannot even follow. Now China is now chasing after Korea. Because their technology, no one can beat the technology. Especially the big oil tankers, inside oil tankers. They said, when one big ship hit the oil tanker, it's about 6-7 layers. So, one hit will not bother them at all. And inside is all computerized. I don't know how did they build that. 2 weeks ago, me and my wife went to south near the shipbuilding yard, Daewoo shipbuilding yard. Amazing. It's a big factory. And the Korean military ships, warships are very sophisticated. Last time North Koreans invaded the southern part with their naval ship. But Koreans, they just sent one ship, but that ship is computerized, okay? When one button will produce 200, sometimes 2,000 bullets, one button. And all these sailmen, okay, navies will hide downstairs. No one outside. But the North Korean ship, it's just a contemporary. Soldiers have to get out of the downstairs basement, go out, and this. You can't even fight. They're all killed. It's a small country, but God has given us the brain. Why? Because we are sending out missionaries. The second largest missionary sending country in the world is Korea. And a couple of days ago, the Korean television in the news, I just watched that. They said there are 10 technologies invented by Koreans cannot be copied by other countries. In the days to come, One is this. You have a plastic bag here, plastic bags, right? When you're shopping, plastic bags, now that kind of stuff. And this kind of plastic bags and all these covers, it's an international problems because of what? You cannot melt this. It will destroy land, farmland, and all this, what is it, what you call it? It kills all these natural resources. Garbage. The issue is that we have to find something working the same way as this, strong as like this, and when you put in the garbage can, if that melt, okay, dissolved, then it'll be a paradise. Eh? Whenever I go to mission field, your countries, this kind of garbage is all over. All over, there, all over. Damaging landscape and soil and everything. When Korean company invented like this, that will be melted on the ground. They say they will make billion dollars. They say they cannot even estimate how much they will make. That's the good news for human welfare. That kind of stuff. Many important parts invented by Koreans. There is another dangerous, life-threatening weapon, okay, beside nuclear weapon, is biological, chemical weapons. Biological, chemical weapons. You just put that, say, any kind of germs, disease, okay, put it on your missile and you shoot. And say 100,000 people will be contracted by disease, all kinds of disease. Had applied once during the Gulf War in 1990 by Americans, Iraqi soldiers. Now, today, that is more dangerous, afraid of, than nuclear weapons, as much as dangerous. You know which country has the most chemical, biological weapons? Huh? North Korea. North Korea. Around 60 to 70% of biological, chemical weapons developed by the North Koreans. You see, now you are sitting in a Korean peninsula. It's very interesting people living together with you. They've been selling these weapons to the Arab countries. So Arab countries are good fans of North Koreans. Those Arab countries have purchased very heavily these kind of weapons from North Korea. So North Korea is Korea's primary overseas money, okay, comes from the sale of weapons. So their weapon industry is very strong. Second trend is it's a rise of Islam. It's a rise of Islam. I will give you some data on Islam. I collected data here. What is the world population today? 6.7 billion. Now, Islam population used to be 1.2 billion. In 10 years, they are looking at 2 billion. In 10 years, until 2010. 2 billion, which is about 1/3. That is their strategy. I've been told that Saudi Arabia has sent out missionaries to Africa, numerous, countless missionaries. So now Africa turning into very rapidly Islam, and so as Europe. Now I will give you some figure here. France, write down France, 5 million Muslims. Germany, 2 million. UK, 1.5 million. Netherlands, 500,000, 500,000. Belgium, 300,000. Austria, 200,000. Altogether in Europe, 15 million. 15 million. No. Total Arab population, 200 million. There are 400 mosques in UK and 200 mosques in Germany. Indonesia is the largest, the most Islam nation with 240 million population, 80% Muslims, around 200 million, 80%, 200 million, and 16% Christians. Now in Malaysia, for instance, only the second here, Malaysia, 25 million population, 60% Islam, 20% Buddhism, 10% Christian. India is the second largest Islam country. India, out of one Indian population, 1 billion, 13% Islam. Pakistan, 180 million population, 96% Islam. Bangladesh, 150 million, 86% Islam. Afghanistan, 30 million, 97% Islam. China, 1.3 billion, 2% Islam. Philippines, 80 million population, 5% Islam. Top priority, okay, now, for Islam evangelism, what country would be the top priority? Write it down. For Islamic evangelism, the top priority country would be, number one would be Indonesia, second the Malaysia and Philippines, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Central Asia, all those 10 countries, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan. 10 means what? The land, okay? And Northern Africa. And last is the Middle East. Why? Because those, the Middle Easterners and Northern African people, they had received the gospel first about 500 years. First 5 centuries, 6 centuries. Including Iranians and Iraqians. They had received the gospel first 500-600 years. Okay? While the Asians, like here Indonesians and Philippines and Malay, those countries did not receive the gospel. We consider this. If we are Calvinists, okay, those chosen Christians among those tribe people already has collected by God during the first 600 years time, while these Asians had never received the gospel in the past. So we have to share the gospel with them first. However, since Korea is sending the major missionary forces to the Islamic countries under the leadership of Saudi Arabia, they decided to send their missionaries back to Korea, sponsored by Saudi Arabia. So Korea now being threatened by those Islamic countries to evangelize Korea to Islamic religions. I have heard that those so-called Islamic missionaries attending universities in Korea, even attending Bible college and seminaries in Korea, okay, disguising themselves as if they were Christians, and even marrying Korean girls and converting their wives and families, sometimes often threatening them to change their religion. So Korean church and government already realize their strategy. Now we are looking for counter attack. Now what is the first trend here? Weapon expansion, proliferation. Second is the rise of Islam. Third, struggle for Jerusalem. Here, the Jerusalem, as I told you before, now Jerusalem got divided into two parts, East Jerusalem and West Jerusalem. Now, Palestinians, okay, in their negotiation with Israel government today, requested, even demanded, the full control of Jerusalem under their authority, especially the Temple Mount. You know, Temple Mount now is in their control. Okay? Now, Israelis said, we don't want to give Temple Mount and all the Jerusalem, that is the eastern part of Jerusalem, under your control. We want to maintain Jerusalem, at least half this Temple Mount area under our control. And strong fundamental Jewish people that if we give away the Temple Mount to Palestinians, then we are violating the Bible teachings. So we cannot compromise it. Now, Islams, they said, Temple Mount is our ancestor. Who is ancestor? Ishmael. Ishmael, the sacrificial site. So we cannot give up. So it's been very sharp argument between these two groups, even today. Some way along the line, this issue should be resolved for the peace in the Middle East. We will be waiting for that. So this issue on Jerusalem has been a world focus. Number 4 issue is Magog. Magog is what? Russia. Magog invasion. Russia, in her attempt to bring their influence down to the Middle East, they had tried many times. In Libya, Colonel Gaddafi now is very close friend of Russia. Russia used to give influence to Egypt and Ethiopia. Now their influence has been not completely out, but still there. See, always UK and Americans fighting over their influence. So it's been high tension. And then Iran now becomes the very close friends of Russia, exchanging weapons and sending the Russian military and nuclear exports to Iran. That's why Iran now has nuclear power learned and taught by Russian experts. So Russians are now slowly going down to the Middle Eastern countries. Later, they will have their own alliances with the Arab countries. So Arab eventually will be a very close alliance with Russia, will fight against Israel and her alliances. Europeans, I would say, Americans and Canadians and Korea. South Korea will be part of the alliance. Maybe Japan, maybe India. But India is on the western part, then Pakistan naturally will be on the other side. Bangladesh will be the other side. And China will be with Russians. So now this world today now dividing into two major groups. Okay? China, Russia, Arabs, and Muslims all get together in one group. And Israel and Western Christian countries will be in one group. Can you see this trend? Huh? Yeah. Because of who? Because of those Arabs and Jews issues. Because of the Jerusalem issues. See, the Christianity, two sons of Abraham, Ishmael descendant and Isaac and Jacob descendants. Okay, now they're fighting against each other. Therefore, Abraham is the center of human history. Number 5, the decline of the U.S. U.S. decline. U.S. power now has been decline. Less and less. And 6, the rise of the Far East. The rise of the Far East. You know, here is China, Korea, Japan. Here, Vietnam. Over here, Cambodia, Laos, and Thai, Myanmar. Here, Malaysia. Here, in the Philippines, Indonesia, all these countries here, okay? And over here, what is it? India. This is where you guys, Sri Lankans, come back. This is India, Sri Lanka. This is Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Afghanistan. Over here, Iran, okay? And Iraq, and so on. Now, this over we call Middle East. See, all this came from these Western guys here. Western guys call this is Asia is east from there. That's why it's east. Okay? It's a Middle East. Now then, where is the Central East? Now over here, 10 countries. 10 countries called Central Asia. You know those here. Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, and Uzbekistan. Those 10 are called Central Asia. Okay? Central Asia. Now, these Indians, Pakistanis, all these guys, hot countries. Sri Lankans, all these, they call this, and here, Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, and Indonesia. All these hot country people, dark faces. Okay? Sometimes only slippers. You don't need a boot. But no winter. Huh? Yeah, hot. They call it South Asians. No ties, South Asians. That's why these people here have their own called ASEAN. What is it? They call ASEAN. They have their own group, ASEAN group. They don't invite Japanese and Koreans and even Chinese. They say we are separate. Okay? Southeast Asian nations. Actually, it's a southern people. Okay? But here, Korea and Japan, they call Far East, because from this guy's view, they are very far at the end of the Asia. Okay, so far is, this is the end of Asia, and then you have the Pacific Ocean here. No more. No more. This is Korea, Japan, China, not this part. This southern part is just like these guys here. Only the northern Chinese. Beijing here, it's Mongol here. Okay, all these people here. Cold area. Cold. You see, -10 today. Cold area. These people call Far East. They said this, the rise of the Far East. The Far East countries, Northern China, Koreans, and Japan. These area people are now holding a key technology and money, key power now is coming out of these areas, Far East. These 10 trends in 21st century is not made out of me. I have read many articles, many documents and so on. I collected all this, okay, prepared by the secular people. They said, rise of the Far East. This is a very dangerous hotspot and very powerful group in the 21st century. Now you are living in that area. Americans said that. Now, number 7. Number 7 is the rise of European superstate. This is what we call EU, right? EU, have you heard the name EU? Yeah? European Union. Near now about 30 countries. All European countries now gathering together into one country, one power. Very dangerous. Yeah. You see now it's the European Unions. They selected one president, one member parliament there, using one currency, euro. In one country, becoming one country. Because they want to collect their power into one to fight against United States of America. America is only the United States. Okay? Same as the United Europe. Now they know that Far Eastern countries over here. The Korean president, Lee Myung-bak, is now saying, let us have our Far Eastern, these countries, let us get together, united. So they have a meeting with the Chinese, Japanese, in 3 countries. Koreans, Chinese, Japanese leaders are meeting together. Because they are afraid of European power coming. Now, American powers are still big. So we have to have our own power. And also Indians, they want to build their own power. And Chinese say, we want to build our own power. The Chinese say, well, Koreans and Japanese, let us have power together, but a little bit reluctant. So now Asians, these guys say, we want to have a big power, but most of the Asians are not rich. Okay? So this time, few years ago, they say, we want to invite, so that's why Asian Plus, they said. When they have a meeting, they invite Chinese, Koreans, and Japan. Chinese president, Korean president, and Japanese prime minister. They invite. So they call it Asian Plus. So these 3 guys now attending together, working together with this. Because they know they cannot fight against these big guys. Now, it used to be G8, right? Yes. G8, big 8 countries. G8 countries now losing their power. Economic power and political power, even military power. So there's a GAs cannot dominate world affairs. Okay? So now they say we need a G20. So now G20 is in power. Started last year, I don't know exactly. But Korea, next year, 2010, G20's major convention will be held in Korea. And Korean President Lee Myung-bak will be a chairman of whole G20. You know why? Because this small country has a power. It's a tiny small country. But now we are growing, and then we have power. Now Korea is about to sign free trade agreement with the EU. Right here. Europeans haven't got the free trade agreement with China and Japan yet. But they said Korea will be the first because they know our economic impact on Europe. And US and Korea almost finished their agreement. Because US, before they enter China and Japan and other countries, they want to have a free trade agreement with Korea first. Okay, now Korea had just finished its free trade agreement with India. Because India considers Korea. You go to India, Korean small cars, Daewoo Hyundais, Matic and the tiny cars, running in our country, they have a factory there. One in New Delhi, one in Madras. Yeah, huge factories. India, big market. You go to India and you will see Korean cars all over. Number 8, biotech and global pestilence. Biotechnology. Okay? Biotechnology and global pestilence means what? It's a biblical. HIV virus, all those diseases that modern medicine cannot cure. It's been happening all over. And number 9, global government. You see, all the nations now is gathering together like a G20, see, and they now try to demolish national boundaries and tariffs. Tariffs? Tax, international tax. Okay, they are now removing visas. So try to make this world community into one country. Then what will happen? If it's one country, growingly, the superpower will come out. Top men, okay, who will control the whole here and whole globe, whole world. It's been their vision, those power people vision that they want to have one single global government financially. Actually, yes, it's been. See, one country has financial problems that will affect all others. In the past, only issues, okay, financial issues, political issues, limited to their own country. Okay? But now, one country's issue got connected, linked to other countries, because it already linked together, depended on each other. You cannot survive by yourself. That's why world leaders are gathering together, because American issue tomorrow will come to hit us. Iranian issue will hit the global countries. It's becoming like that. It will be more. Okay? It's a global government. You just look and see. This will happen. Then also is a global religion. I've been spending a lot of hours for this. Global religion. religion will be shared by one. All religions will be the same, actually, in different names. So Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, all these actually one. It's been world trend now. So all these 10 trends are not apart from biblical teachings on end time. Okay? All the 10 trends are heading toward the end time eschatology. Now we are living in this very peculiar time, very strange time. Never in the past had this kind of trend. But last 20 years, very rapidly, the world has been changed and dramatically going toward that trend and direction. Lord Jesus, during the last 24 hours, you have taught us all the issues and doctrines and theories on eschatology. Now it's our turn to memorize all these and share these messages with as many people as possible, to teach them, to show them the time is very near. As we speak out this truth, you would anoint our brothers and sisters with your spirit, and your double-edged sword power will generate out of our mouths, touching every soul to acknowledge you and convince them for your second coming of Jesus, so that they can change their lifestyles, preparing for your coming. We want to be an instrument for these valuable messages in the days to come. We pray this in the precious name of Jesus Christ. Amen.